Gospel indicates that the one who lives in the truth comes into the light. The contrary, of course, is also true. People avoid the light, and yet the conscience is always nagging. We have these terrifying words in the Hell manuscript indicating how serious the issue it is, despite what people might think out there in our day. You told me once, says the soul, that no one goes to hell without knowing it. This apparently had been revealed to a saint, a woman of God. My reaction was to laugh. But afterwards I took refuge behind this declaration. In this way, as a last necessity, I said secretly to myself, I'll always have the possibility of making an about turn. This thought is correct. True, before my sudden end, I honestly didn't know hell for what it is. No mortal does. But I had full conscience of it. If you die, you're going straight into the realm of the hereafter like an arrow against God. You'll have to face the consequences. I didn't change for all that, because enracinated by the force of habit, as I've already said, I was drawn on by it. The older people get, the more they like their habits. And she indicates that that is actually what happens quite often with souls who have been for a long time rejecting grace. When the last appeal comes, the habit comes to the fore, and again, at that crucial point, it is no. And she indicates how on this particular Sunday morning she had heard this plea in her heart. You could go one more time to Mars. It resounded within me like an imploration. With all these things, we must be finished once and for all. Let me bear all the weight of any consequences there may be. Now I'm carrying them. And so it is that the Lord allowed that death because had she lived longer, her damnation would have become even worse. For are we sure that hell is just the same for everyone? It would seem that actually as there are degrees in heaven and glory therein, so too there are degrees of horror in damnation. And so it can be a mercy if a soul dies before its time, if it's not going to make it anyway. And it comes out in this manuscript that what happens in such cases is that any good that the soul might have is rewarded in this life. So a person who has everything in this life is not necessarily truly blessed. it can be actually not the best sign at all. The light. As for me, she says, at the moment of my death, I woke suddenly out of the fog. I found myself as though flooded by a dazzling light. I was on the very spot on which my corpse was lying. It was as it happens in the theatre, when in one go all the lights go out, leaving nothing to be seen but the stage. The curtains separate with a great din and open on an unexpected scene, the scene of my life. As though in a great mirror, my soul showed itself to itself. The graces spurned from my early days right up to the last no in God's face. And she indicates that at that point there was no more in the realm of choosing at all. The consequences followed. The soul could not go towards the light. It had to propel itself as far as possible in the opposite direction. And we know what that means. It is important, therefore, to be aware that this trick that the devil has of making sure that the light is not faced is truly satanic. All he wants is souls. And when people handle the big issues of life with laughter, it's a sign that they're in this situation of not being able to face the light. And also souls who cannot, even at night, be alone with their thoughts, but have to be plugged in to something else until they fall asleep, are oftentimes being egged on by those same dark forces that want to make sure that they never face the one issue.